everybody, this is Joshua Green with corporationsoul.org, and our next question is do you need to become an ordained minister in order to incorporate a corporation soul? Very, very good question. Been getting it quite often last week from various people from all over the country, and here's the long and short of it. There is actually three different ways that a person can truly get ordained into ministry. Okay, the traditional way is that a person would go through a theology school, a doctrinal school. For instance, Baptists have Bob Jones, Catholics have their own university, then other folks have Wesleyan University, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, each denomination usually has its own university where they hand out theological doctorate degrees, and that is one way that you can actually end up becoming ordained is through those universities, through those denominational universities, and that's usually the most traditional route that people actually go to end up becoming an ordained minister. The second way is what I like to call is really to be ordained through deputization. I almost call it like in wartime, it's almost like a battlefield commission, how they do in the military, where you can have a present pastor, you can have a pastor of a congregation. Right now, for instance, like myself, I'm an overseer, okay, of the Empowerment Center, and a pastor has the authority to ordain, almost like a sheriff would be able to deputize deputies, like if you've seen in the old West movies, where they can literally take these guys off the street and say, raise your right hand and let's, say after me, and now they become deputies and they can go out there and enforce the law. Well, in this case, and I hate to use those analogies, but they're easier for people to understand. In the same context, a present sitting pastor can literally ordain by the laying on of hands with the elders of the church, and literally lay on hands and ordain you a minister. Now, just because they ordain you doesn't mean that you have a church. Okay, you have to have a church in order to have a corporation soul. So that's important. That's what I explained in our last video about the relevance of having an actual church to even be able to have a corporation soul. So that's the second method. So the first method is you can either go through the university method. Number two, you can go through the deputization method, where you basically are ordained by a present sitting pastor, or you can do it through the method which we discuss, or which we employ, which is you actually do it through the statutory declaration of church establishment. Much, much, much easier to do. And the reason I say that is, listen, if you have a calling in your life, if God has called you, you know that God has called you. You know that the Lord has a calling on your life for ministry. I don't care whether it's if God's called you to be an apostle, a prophet, evangelist, a teacher, a pastor, whatever. Whatever the Lord has called you to. But you know for a fact that you have something inside you with your Holy Spirit gifts and talents that needs to become an impartation to those that are around you. And you know that it is necessary right now to get that out and to be that impartation, so that you can go out there and help equip the saints and literally live out your calling in the manner that we're talking about. Then our method is actually the corporationsoul.org. Our method is extremely quick in that regard, because what it does is the statutory declaration of church establishment. It doesn't just establish the church, it also establishes your position in the church as pastor, teacher, or whatever your position is. And then there's a prescribed first amendment to that statutory declaration that literally announces your position as an overseer or bishop or whatever that title is to your corporation soul. Because that's what a corporation soul is. It is the title of the office, of your office within that church. So in that present position, the best and the easiest way to do that is through the lawful declaration of the statutory declaration of church establishment that we offer the people that participate or become covenant partners of corporationsoul.org. That's very, very quick. You get that notarized. You have witnesses that come and they sign it right before the notary. We label them as congregate witnesses, which we explain in our webinars in our previous video. But that is the easiest way. So as far as do you need to become an ordained minister, you just need to understand that there's the three different ways. So the easiest way is the third method, in which you literally, if you know your calling, that you declare your calling. And that is one way. That is not a rebellious spirit if it's done in godly order like we're describing. Now, if somebody's trying just to do this just because they're trying to get a corporation soul for asset protection or tax exempt type of purposes, and that's their only sole prerogative, and they have no real ministerial calling, to their name, I totally tell those people, you need to walk away, you need to get out, because this is not for you. This is for legitimate folks, that they know that this is a burden that God has placed on them. And if you know that burden, and we're helping to confirm that burden by speaking with you directly, and we discern it as well, then we want to do whatever we can possibly do to help you and forming that, so that we can begin the process of incorporating your corporation soul. So I hope that's helped you. If you have any additional questions whatsoever, all you have to do is literally email me at support@corporationsoul.org, and I'll answer 24/7 any questions that you guys have. That's all. Thank you, and God bless.